And that's why I quit my cushy full-time job at one of the largest global consulting firms to start a business and move across the world. Wait a second, let's back this up a little bit. Cue the start of 2022. I was clinically depressed with anxiety through the roof, and I would just lay on the couch scrolling endlessly with no passions, no interests, and really no desire to live. Now, you might be wondering, how did I pull myself out of that place? Maybe you're experiencing something similar or know somebody who is. Well, here's my experience and how it eventually led to me quitting my full-time consulting job where I was making over $110,000 a year to pursue a happier life. Step 1, I sought help. Finding a therapist is hard, especially finding a good therapist. Luckily, I had somebody in my life, my husband, who was willing to go through that process for me because I couldn't do it for myself. If you don't have somebody in your life who can do that for you, I would suggest trying BetterHelp. BetterHelp is a platform that provides mental health services directly to customers, and it's super easy to sign up. It takes just a few minutes for them to gather your information so they can match you with a mental health professional. I personally found that the mental health professionals I worked with on BetterHelp weren't as well versed or helpful as some of these psychologists that I ended up working with outside of the BetterHelp platform, but it's still a good place to start. Through my therapy journey, I was prescribed medication to help regulate my emotions and inject some serotonin into my brain that it couldn't produce on its own. This drastically changed my life. Now, I'm not saying you should go on meds. I'm saying that you should work with a medical professional to see what course of action is best for you. This just happened to be my experience. Step 2 is I did a lot of self-reflecting. Once the chemical imbalances in my brain were sorted out and I was able to start thinking clearly, I started really reflecting internally. Mostly trying to figure out who I am, what I like, what my opinions are, because for so much of my life, anxiety and depression were my entire personality. I just simply didn't know who I was without them. I began to document things that I was learning about myself and putting myself out there a little bit more until I finally found my community here in Nashville after over 2 years of living here. Step 3 was I found my passion. Through my self-discovery journey, I found myself on the brand design side of TikTok, where people were creating time lapses of their end-to-end logo creation process, and I was super intrigued, to say the least. I started binge watching as much relevant content as I could get my hands on, and I thought to myself, hey, why can't I do this? Step 4 is I started building my business. I bought Adobe Illustrator and I started teaching myself its capabilities on YouTube tutorials and doing design briefs. A design brief is essentially like a prompt or exercise that gives you a pretend client that you're supposed to make logo variations and brand materials for so that you can practice and build your portfolio without having legitimate clients. In about 2 months, I had taught myself Adobe Illustrator and I started seeing something called DBA, Design Business Academy, pop up on my Instagram timeline. Step 5, I furthered my education. I decided to invest $3,000 into this design course led by coaches Kenzie and Marissa from the Brief Collective with little to no knowledge of what I would actually learn. This purchase was quite impulsive in retrospect, but DBA gave me the accountability and structure that I needed in my life. They taught you everything from which platforms to use for client onboarding, a new revolutionary way of approaching content creation, how to attract your ideal clients, how to build your website so that it's high converting, and much more. Although I was already familiar with a lot of the concepts that were covered due to my business degree, 5 years working in consulting and my own research, I walked out as a graduate of this class with a new perspective that really helped take my business to the next level. Step 6, I took the leap when I was ready. There were people in my life that were projecting their own fears about quitting my job and starting a business onto me, and all of them were very valid, but I was adopting a lot of those fears as my own for a very long time, which I think is what was holding me back. At some point, I don't know what shifted, but I just felt like I was ready. I had enough confidence in myself and my capabilities to be successful if I put my all into this. If I had took this leap too early, I would have had some serious limiting beliefs that would have held me back from succeeding in entrepreneurship. My small business, Sinks Designs, works with other small businesses and creatives to captivate their target audience, scale their business, and articulate their value through brand strategy and emotive visuals. Check us out at Sinks Designs over on Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit that subscribe button and stick around for more videos on brand design and starting a small business as I navigate these major life changes of quitting my job and moving across the world. With that, until next time.